Welcome to the Marriott Library. I love that you could remember my name, but if you ever need any help with the library, there's my full address, and you can email me anytime. And what I'm going to do in this brief tour is show you what you need to know as an undergraduate student in psychology at the University of Utah, and how to expand on those ideas and get the most out of your university and library experience. So the first one is that when you are at the academic library, words count. So if you do a search for psychology, I misspelled it. Did I misspell it again? Oh, I transposed the S and the Y. If you misspell something, it doesn't have a smart search. So for example, if you go out to Google and type in LA Times, whether you spell it right or not, it's going to kind of get in the ballpark. It's like, oh, I know exactly what you're looking for based on your country. So the IP address tells what the dominant language is, or previous search history in your cookies or in your search history and all things like that. None of those things are looked at in an academic library. So it's the words that count. So if you misspell something like I just did, you won't get anywhere. So let me show you the library catalog and how you can work with that. So let's see if I can spell psychology correctly this time. Psychology. So one way to test is if you misspell something and you only get like 57 results, you'll know that you probably misspelled psychology. But here you can see we've got 11 million results. That's quite a bit. How do we narrow down? Well, first of all, is everything in here academic? Well, not necessarily. So I'll show you how to get through those. But in psychology, population matters. So I'm going to do children or kids or adolescent or teens or youth. So we'll go from almost 12 million. And every time you add something on a new row, you'll see this and. Whenever you see the and, it will narrow it down even further. You might already be familiar with this. They're called Boolean operators. That goes to 2 million. So if you're ever doing an assignment in psychology that calls for something, cognitive, behavioral therapy. Oh, I misspelled everything. Therapy. So put it in quotes if it's more than one word, by the way. But every time you add a line with that and, you're narrowing your results tighter and tighter and tighter. Another way to narrow down stuff is over here on the right-hand side, sometimes on the left-hand side, there will be these facets. So if you have a class where they say you need a peer-reviewed journal, or if you're looking for a book, you can narrow down that way. If you know the title of a book, you can put it in quotes too. But if we go to peer-reviewed journals, you can also go and say, well, I want something that was published since COVID. None of this is exotically challenging, but a lot of the discovery that people do when they're looking at research is just this sort of a thing. Library catalog's great for finding stuff in general. So if you're looking for concepts like CBT with kids and things like that, that's a great way to go. You can also do, let me clear everything. You could also do psychology and employment. So if you're looking for jobs in something, you can say, well, what's going on? All you have to do is sort by date newest, and you'll see what people are talking about. Whoa. Educational attainment, entrepreneurial intention, or if you're interested in a particular, I was talking with somebody the other day, and they wanted to take their psychology degree and go into counseling, or I guess we have the employment on there. Oh. Counseling or counselor. Then it narrows down to those things. So you can see, oh, school counselor. Oh, I could work with autistic kids. That's what I'm into, therapeutic recreation. So you get the idea. The more words or the less words depends on how much you want, and you can narrow down. The library catalog is great because it's a good brainstorming tool. But what if you need something more specific? You can go into databases, and whatever class you're taking, from psychology you can find whatever the librarian is for that. So I'm a social work librarian, but here we see the most popular psychology database. If you go to the subject guide right here, that will show you the psychology librarian. And you can write to them directly and say, hey, I need this assignment where we have to find a randomized controlled trial about this specific population, blah, 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 blah. But did you know that you can do that for anything? So if you find yourself in a business class, that's the easiest database to get in. And there's a guide to the business librarian. Whoa, that one's broken. I'll have to ask them to fix that one. Or if somebody says, oh, you really need to go into CINAHL, which is a nursing database, you can go in by letter. Or Canopy, which is a video database, or SWANK, which is video. Sometimes you have to go in that way. So, oh, let me show you a database though. Let's go back to PsycInfo. And I'll show you what you can expect there that's really handy that a lot of students don't know. Psychology, oh Lord. I got allergies on the brain. When you go into this specific database, you don't have to use the keyword psychology, right? Because this is all psychology literature, but you still want to go into advanced search so you get those extra things. But you can type in, let's do, what did I just say? Allergies and pollen. So now, if I did this in the catalog, it would look under biology, it would look under medicine, it would look under everything. But now if I'm just looking in psychology, is there anything that is going to affect my psychology? Oh, fatigue, disordered sleep. Well, I have a bad headache. Oh, look at that. So all I need is neurolinguistic psychotherapy, and that can modulate the reaction. Wow, that's pretty cool. You can also look up more open-ended things, trauma, or you can look up more fun things, love, relationships, communication, whatever your interests are, or whatever discipline your faculty will give you some of those ideas in the form of keywords, and you can just try those out. One important thing to know is that if you go into the article itself, or if you're in the database, sometimes you'll see this full text, or it says PDF, but sometimes it'll have this find it and view it. When you go into, whoa, acute stress promotes aggressive behavior if you're allergic to tree pollen. I'll have to avoid stressful, I'll have to avoid stress. The abstract is right there. You can email yourself the abstract. There's a citation generator in most of these databases. So if you do APA, there's the citation generator, and that one looks actually pretty good. But what happens if you're over here and you want to see the full text of the article? Whenever you see that View It button across any of the databases, when you click on it, it'll go back to the library catalog, or it'll show you a list of databases. If it says this, it's not currently held by the library, email me or email the psychology librarian. Sometimes it'll send you to Interlibrary Loan, where it will send you the article automatically. I'll show you that in a second. But all you have to do is pick your library from Interlibrary Loan, and it'll fill out the article, and you just click Submit. I'll show you the rest of Interlibrary Loan in just a short bit. So this is a great way to go. There is a guide. Do you remember when we looked at the subject guides? Those are right here too. So you can go in and you can say, who's my librarian who can help me out? You can see there's somebody doing educational psychology. There's sports psychology. There's regular psychology. And so here we have find articles. Hey, there's the PsycInfo database. But here's some other databases too. You can work with Marie as you go. What's Research Help? Of course, something is broken. I wonder if that's supposed to be a form. I've got something weird going on with my browser. So your browser, you'll probably find something there. Web resources, certification, instruments, everything under the sun, you can work with that. If you find something that you can't get access to, and that includes out on the open web, if you go to Interlibrary Loan, and log in for the first time, you'll have to fill out a form, but it's tied to your university network ID. You can just go to new requests and you can request any of these things for free, including textbook chapters and things like that. Let me know if you struggle or have any issues with this. Sometimes there's some nuances that people get stuck on. Lastly, I wanted to show you one last database, which is one of my favorites. If you go to databases, this is popular with the psychology people. If you go to W and Web of Science allows you to search. So if you found like 11 million articles, and you can add rows on this one too. So let's do, what is the most important article on psychology and love and relationships? That's kind of like, well, who knows what the most important article is? How do we figure that out? In the last 20 years or so, what we can do is we can see via library databases how many times something has been cited. So for example, if you go to this database, and this is the only one that does this, Google Scholar does this as well, but if you see which one has been cited the most, then you can see arguably these 2,996 articles couldn't exist unless they had cited the evidence found in this one. So even though it's from 1992, inclusion of other in the self-scale and the structure of interpersonal closeness was so important that you could arguably say. Again, it's not truth, it's just the evidence suggests. Isn't that cool? Emotional attachments to brands, so there's marketing, positive emotions, giving people the benefit of the doubt. So you could add more keywords and find anything on anything that you were interested in and see what was cited the most. People love this one. If you see this, check for full text. It's that same thing that we did before that, view it and find it. Going so slowly. There we go. Full text available. Hey, look at that. It goes into another database. And let's see if it's going to give me the full text. Yay! Sometimes it doesn't work. So let me know if you run stuck on anything. This has been Dale, one of your librarians, and I'm delighted to offer this service for you.